Hi fellow traders, I finally had some time I can do a daily trade recap. Hopefully I can do a lot more here in the coming days and coming weeks, but it's been a struggle to try to get myself back on track. I mean, it got to a point where I couldn't hit the broadside of a barn with a mule. That's just how out of sorts I was. And didn't realize it because you kind of gradually get there and it sneaks up on you. But trying to, getting the ship righted, getting back to what I do and what makes me successful. And that's what, everybody in the community wants to learn and wants to see. So getting back to that. So we're going to go over my trades here in a few and kind of walk you through my day. I did do one thing a little different, kind of introduced my swing trade and one of the simple strategies that I use, just kind of a teaser. I'm not going to really get into that until the 1st of June in the weekly education webinars we have in chat. And then, we're going to start the swing trading class in June as well for those that want to really get into it and understand the ins and outs of swing trading and how I do it. And that's why I call it swing trading the average Joe way. It's the way I do it. Just like I do everything else, I take it and make it as simple and as straightforward as possible. The least amount of moving parts, they make it, makes it the most consistent. So we'll be sharing that with you here in a minute, in addition to some of the trades I take. So sit back and relax and check out my day. Well, we're going to look at the trades from today. Let's see, HUM was my first trade. I just flat spaced opening range this morning. I was just behind, and I don't know why. It just seems like I was slow reacting. RDUS was the trade I was looking at. I mean, it did wash out pretty quick. I mean, I gotta hand it that. Here was the first 5-minute candle here. Here's where my entry should have been. Right in here at around 39.50. If I was gonna play, trade the more risky entry, will be here as soon as we break it, or I could have waited until this candle finished. This candle gave me another entry around 39.30 or so, which would have been, fine. Yeah, I still, my stop would have been a little bit farther away. I would have had to go in with a little bit smaller size, but I had the VWAP here, the 9 to 20, and the 90-day right here. All right here, I could have gotten in and taken this down to 37.62, which would have been my first target. But I waited for it to go back, and I got in a secondary trade, which I'm gonna look at. We'll look at that later on. But I just wanted to show you what I was looking at for the opening range. So this really should have been a $500, $600 day for me, trading just 300 shares. And this is the point I'm trying to get through to everybody. You don't have to trade a whole lot of size to make money. And even I lost focus of that. I was trying to make more money, and I was trying to add more size and try to force things just so I could reach a target. And it was just bad news. But it's just one of those things. I just missed it. I just wasn't feeling it. I didn't feel connected to the market for whatever reason, right off the bat. But, it happens. I didn't get out of sorts. I didn't lose my cool. I just came back and I locked in and tried to find some better setups or some good setups. And here's HUN. This one was it on my watch? Yeah, this was on my watch this morning. And we had a nice opening range breakdown on this. We had the big candle, and then we had a little pullback, but then we got the sell-off. This is something that happens, sometimes. And that's why you just draw the line here. And this is why I always wait for a candle to actually close below the opening range. And see, this is the opening range here. This candle closed. This candle opened, tried to push up, and started selling off. Perfect entry would be right here. But I didn't get in because read the green line here, which could have been a bounce. And then we had the 200, but it went through all of that. So it went through, it bounced. And I was watching it because I was watching for the rejection off this 200. I was going to get in and hold it. Look if we could fade into the lunch. Well, I got here. We got this candle, which is nice. This is a rejection candle here, or a reversal candle. Right under. We tried to push the 200 here and fail. Tried to push it here and fail. So I got in here. And yeah, this candle was red when I got in. But not long after I got in, it turned green, but it tested the 200 and it didn't get over it. So I was expecting, hey, we might get to roll over. So this candle opened, it was red. I started to feel pretty decent about it, but then we started to recover, and I just went ahead and clicked it. $67 loss. It didn't follow through. We got it pulled back to the rejection point and just didn't follow through. And so I stayed engaged with it. We got up here to the red, the green, we rejected it. I wasn't going to get in because before it makes a new trend, it's got to make a new low relative to this slight pullback here. So it didn't quite make it. And then what I did was I drew this trend line, and I was like, well, nah, this is making higher lows. This downward trend may be broken. But eventually, the 20 kind of slapped it back into submission, and we ended up losing it. And this was kind of a slow bleeder throughout the day. And some people did catch it. They got in, they did catch it. But it just wasn't for me. I wasn't, I'd already disengaged from it. Alright, so FL. Here was another stock that looked pretty good. This had a decent look to it. I mean, look at this. We trended down all day. Here we kind of hung around. We lost VWAP. But really we were losing VWAP here. We had all of this downward pressure on this stock. I was looking for this to fade down to 59. A quick washout down to 59 before we had a bounce and came back and tested this. We got the initial move, but it just no follow through. Never followed through enough for me to take profit. So ended up stopping out, you know, right here once we got back over the VWAP. Really hit my max loss stop because I didn't give it that much room. $63 on it. No big deal. But it was disappointing because this was a solid setup. We were below the VWAP, the 9, the 20, the 200. The 200 had crossed the 20, had crossed VWAP, and it was coming in hard. There's no way I would expect this stock to find some strength with the low volume that it had. Find strength to go long. But it did. So this was just an odd stock. This is just one of those that just did not follow the plan. And obviously, you know, there's a big player in here that does not want this thing to go. So that was FL. And we'll go back to RDUS. You know, this is the one that I missed the opening range trade on that we were talking about. So I waited for the rejection. Here I could have gotten in on this candle, but I waited the extra mile. And as soon as I got in, we got some green candles. But as long as the technicals were in play, I held on to it. Ended up getting the first cover here at this level, 37.60ish. I think it was 37.63. And then we trying to trade it sideways a little bit again, and then got the next dip down through 37. And then as we came back, I was looking for maybe a one candle pullback to this 50-day, and then we would get down to the 200 period moving average right here from the intraday chart, but we didn't get it. It just recovered, and you know, that's kind of what this stock did the rest of the day. Just kind of traded in this little channel here, but was able to nail, you know, a solid 261. And this was an easy $300 trade this morning. You know, easy $300 trade, and just flat missed it. And I can't afford to do this, because if you're going to make money trading and you're going to lock in on one stock, you don't want to miss the biggest move if you don't have to. Like tomorrow, I won't be in until, you know, sometime after 11. And I won't be able to trade the open. So when I come in, I'm going to be looking for these secondary moves. And that's fine. But if I'm here in the morning and I miss these, that's not good, because these are the trades that pay the bills. Alright, so that was it. I did introduce a swing trade today. And just to give you some background on it, one of the strategies I like to trade is once a stock gets oversold after bad earnings. You know, a stock comes out with bad earnings and it washes out. I wait till it gets oversold. The short interest is real high in this. And then I look for a bounce day. So in this case, we ran into this support. The support held, and this is just a pivot point from the daily chart. This is previous price action. It held here on Thursday. Okay, and it was oversold. You know, it was hitting my oversold scanner or screener starting like that Monday or whatever. And I was just watching it as it goes down. And I was waiting for it to base off of a level of support. And then the next day, open higher than the previous day's close and hold it. And once this opened and held, this is where I got in. And I had targets right here at 21 what was it, 47, 21.50, somewhere in there. Next target was 22.38. Next target was 23. So I had my targets based on the pivot points here, but I was expecting this to take 1 to 3 days to get back to 25. That's where I wanted it to get to at least. Now, had it got here to 25 and it kept going, I definitely would have re-engaged this and started looking for it to run into the 20-day here. But some days you get a stock like this that gives you a solid intraday move, and that's what it did, and it allowed me to take profit throughout the day. So I'm going to bring up but before I bring up the chart from the day, I just wanted to show you what I'm looking at. And obviously it's a little bit more to it, but this is just a quick overview. And one of the simple strategies that I'm going to be sharing in chat, in the weekly education webinars that we have in chat, and also this is one of the strategies that I teach in the class, in the swing trading course, where I go in depth to the strategy, and we go through it piece by piece. But it's very, very simple. I'm just scanning for oversold charts. I'm looking for, my favorite are stocks who lost on earnings. We get the big sell-off, and I look for the bounce. Now, even if bad news came out, this is down so far that it may be unlikely that the bad news will make it drop any further. You never know. So I felt pretty confident getting this. And we did, and we got a nice, move here today. So I'm taking this in my other account, in the account that I swing trade out of. And you can see this is my entry. This is where, we didn't get any activity at the open. But here's the opening candle. Here's my entry, because we opened above yesterday's close, and we're holding it. We're holding above the 20, the 9, and I could only expect this to ramp up. Now, I honestly, based on the ATR of the stock, I felt it may take pretty much all day to get to this 23.39, but it didn't. It only took a couple hours, or just under 2 hours, to get from here to where my first cover was, which was around 23.40 or so. I can't remember, but I got it here. And then the next target was this 24. So I felt, well, we may bounce around, and then by the end of the day, I can take some off at 24, and I'll leave the rest on, for tomorrow, to see if we could get in. Or if we did a pullback, I would take some more shares. And so that's exactly what I did. I took some here. We got the pullback to the 9. Well, the 9 is usually what holds it. Not the 9, the 20. The 20 is usually the moving average that's been holding, and everything's been respecting. So, okay, smart me. I'm getting ready to add, and I actually sold my position right here. So I was all out right here. So then I added back. Once we got the bounce, I went ahead and added back and was looking for the next move up. And so right now I'm just in it, waiting for this next move to mature. Now, we did get down here to the VWAP. We did test the VWAP here late in the day, but the VWAP held, and we'll see where we go from here. But this was a solid swing trade, and it was just easy to find. You know, stocks that miss earnings and wash out, I wait for them to hit the RSI extreme scan, and I pull up the chart and I plan my attack. And that's all it is. And a lot of times you just set it and forget it. I just set this, put in a profit target for 23.40, put in another profit target for like 24, or it might have been 24.05, I can't remember, and just let it work. And when I saw these get hit, you know, I'm not watching this stock intraday. I'm watching it on a yearly chart, a daily chart. I'm sorry, I'm watching it on a daily chart like this. I've got on my other platform, I've got 6 daily charts, and I've got 5 stocks that I'm looking at for potential swing trades. I'm watching it to see if it's going to hit my entry or give me an entry signal, and I have the SPY. And so I'm looking at those. I'm looking at, you know, that chart, and I'm managing the trade off of it, and I'm seeing that it's gobbling up the levels I had, and it's just taking me out. I mean, the trade's on autopilot. You know, once I set it, it's on autopilot. I put my stop in and put my profit targets in and let it go. If it doesn't hit it today, it may hit it tomorrow. If it doesn't hit it tomorrow, it may hit it Wednesday. But the key is engaging the trade and setting everything up, you know, having a plan and executing. That's pretty much all I did. All right, so that was it for me today. Pretty decent day. I'm not gonna complain. Just starting out slow. Want to finish the month strong. The numbers look good because the swing trades have been masking them, but I'm feeling more in control of my trades. I feel more in control of what I am doing. And as far as I'm concerned, that's the best thing that can happen to me right now, is to actually be in control of my trades and feel like I'm in control. And feel that I have a pulse of the market and I can give a good, you know, effort every day when I'm in the market. Now, one stock I know you probably asking me about, well, what about AAOI? You trade this every day. Well, yeah, I probably should have thrown a couple hundred shares at it and let it go. But over the weekend, I read some more of insiders that are dumping shares. Whenever the stock is pushing up on air and insiders are dumping shares, this thing is going to come crashing down. And when it crashes, I mean, it may really go through the floor. And this has over 30% short. Over 30% of the float is short. So it's a high short interest in this. And I tried this a week ago, waiting for this to turn over. And, you know, it hurt me a couple times, so I just left it alone. You know, this is out of my ballpark right now. You know, me and AAOI worked together pretty good for about a month, but now it's out of my league. And I recognize that, and I'm not embarrassed to say that it's out of my league, and I'm going to let it go. Because I know I'm the only one at the end of the day I have to answer to. And I don't want to answer to myself, you know, chasing after something that's, you know, unattainable at this moment. But this was a good stock. I mean, it ran up to 71. I had no idea it would ever get that high. No idea. I mean, this was nice. We did chop around a lot here pre-market, but once this stock opened, you know, it kind of set a, and it looked like it was trying to set a bull flag here. We were riding the 20 up. There was no indication that it was going short here. It was long all the way. But I just didn't have the conviction to do it. So that was my day today. Pretty solid day. I think I did bank maybe $400. Maybe more. I don't know. I haven't really looked at it. But not a bad day. Trading a couple hundred shares. Not a bad day. If you can do this every day with a couple hundred shares, you really won't need to size up much. You just can develop your skill and increase your share size. Now, I do have to say this. This market is very tough. Again, you know, I said it earlier. I said it before. This market is tough on small account traders because you're not getting a whole lot of follow through. Now, a 20-cent follow through on somebody that's trading 5,000 shares, that's gravy. They snatch that up. You know, they just grab a biscuit and snap and sop it right up. You know, that's good money for them. If you're trading 1,000 shares and you get a 20-cent move, that's $200. You know, that's not bad. You do that 5 or 6 times a day, you're in good shape. But for traders who don't have that account and are unable to take larger share sizes and take advantage of these smaller moves, because if you go in with 100 shares and you take it off at 20 cents, you know, you're going to be looking at yourself in the mirror saying, you know, what the hell am I doing? This doesn't make sense. Why am I trading 100 shares for 20 cents? You know, now if you're just starting out trading and you're just going live, you know, maybe that'll be okay. But if you've been trading for a month or two and you're trying to plan your trades, you shouldn't plan a trade that you're only going to get 20 cents out of and then go in with 100 shares. You know, that doesn't really make any sense. So just, you know, it is tough right now, but if you plan correctly and you find the right trades that's going to give you enough, like if you go in with 100 shares and you got a 50-cent potential, you know, $50 is nothing to sneeze at when you're learning and you're trying to grow your account. It's not. So you have, you know, look at things that way. So I'm gonna call it for right now. Hopefully I can continue to do fairly well. You know, when I shut it down Friday, I felt like I couldn't, you know, do anything right. But, you know, everything is trying to come together. We just take it slow and easy. And, you know, if the trade doesn't follow through, it doesn't follow through. We pack up and move to the next one. So I gotta have that mentality. So you guys take it easy and have a great rest of the evening, and I will see you bright and early tomorrow in chat.